Welcome to another podcast. I'm Jay Tombstone, and I've been just kind of feeling I need some sort of outlet lately, and I haven't done stand-up comedy in a while, and I haven't done improv in a while, and I've had a few different podcasts that, for whatever reason, lasted, didn't last, and this is just going to be me talking about me and the stuff I've been going through, and I'm calling this Fifth Recovery, not the Fifth Recovery is going to be the title of it. And the reason I call it Fifth Recovery is I'm now in my fifth recovery. I started smoking. Let's go through. How'd you get to 5? I started smoking when I was 11. I quit smoking when I was 32. So that's one recovery. I stopped drinking when I was 33. I think 33. In my head, it's hard. I really can't remember if I quit smoking first or quit drinking because they were right there. So that's 2. When I was a young teenager in late 20s, I had a pretty severe eating disorder, although I never sought help for it. I definitely had an eating disorder that I managed to get through without any sort of therapy. That is 4. So smoking, eating disorder, drinking. Oh, then I quit meth. I quit meth in 2007. I started after Katrina, and then in 2015, I relapsed into meth addiction. At the same time, my mom was dying. I kind of must admit that I got high to deal with the death of my mother, which was traumatizing to me. And so I realized, so that's the 4th addiction. So now I'm recovering for the 5th time. That's what I say. I recover from cigarettes, meth, eating disorder, meth, and now I'm going meth again. So, and when I was in my addiction, I just kept thinking, oh my God, I do not want to fucking recover again. Jesus Christ. And so now I'm in it. I got through. Let's just get how I got through some of these things. When I had my eating disorder, I was early 20s. I met my dear friend who was a drag performer, and we would go out together. She moved in with me. We spent all our time together. And we'd go out at night, and she would spend the whole day talking about what she was going to make that night. What she's going to make for dinner, how she's going to make it, what she's going to put in it, blah, blah, blah. So by the time we get home, she'd smoke a joint and then make food, and I was in. Like, that, boom, anorexia cured. My thing with anorexia, I still don't know what it was, anorexia, bulimia. But my thing was I had a numbers thing. I weighed myself 4 or 5 times a day. There used to be these little weight machines, these little scales. Every time you went from a grocery store or anything, and you'd get on them, put a quarter in. It would tell you your weight and give you a little piece of paper that had your weight and your like a horoscope or lucky numbers or something on it. I used to have those little pieces of paper. They were about the shape of like a fortune cookie, and I had them all over the place. All that's to say that I recovered from my eating disorder without any professional help, but help from my dear friend. When I quit drinking, I did not plan on quitting drinking. I had no intention to quit drinking. What happened was I developed hepatitis A, and when I had hepatitis A, I was very sick for about 2 months. And when I was sick in those 2 months, I could not stand the smell of alcohol, and I had a bionic smell. I could smell it from across the room, and it just made me sick. Like, ooh. And I still, it's not as strong. I can't smell it from far away, but I can barely get any strong alcohol to my face, much less drink it. Oh, I never loved the taste of alcohol. I was always one who just drank a lot to just get it down, get drunk. And, yeah, I never intended to quit drinking. It just happened. I got sick, and once I got sick, it never could drink again. It was not possible. So that's how I got. I also got through eating disorder, and now I got through drinking. I quit drinking with no help whatsoever. Um, I started in therapy in 2001, somewhere around there, and when I was officially diagnosed with depression, and then I was put on antidepressants. And when they put me on Wellbutrin, my therapist said to me then, some people who get on Wellbutrin quit smoking. And I clearly remember I was like, well, that ain't happening, because I was like I'm smoking till I die kind of smoker. Fuck you, I'm going to smoke and smoke. Fuck you, I'm going to smoke. But in fact, a few months after I started Wellbutrin, I quit smoking. And so then I went a little while, a good few years, super sober, just smoking weed. And then it was 2005, I started doing meth after Hurricane Katrina. And in 2007, I snapped to it. I started having like these traumatic memories. And I went back into therapy, and I got through that. And that was like a 2-year stint of addiction to meth. And then I, went through 2007, 2015, had great, what's that? 17, 15, 7 years. I had a great 7 years. I was doing comedy. I had a decent job for most of that. I was making more money than ever. And everything seemed to go great for a while there. Yeah, and it was the death of my mom. I mean, it wasn't just the death of my mom, but 2015, my mom died at the end of 2015. The beginning of 2015 started with me quitting my job that I had for 8 years. And I did it on very principle, because I'd been working there. I helped this guy build a small business from the ground up. And it was we made stuff for military units. And at some point there was like a big 2014, there was a big thing about defunding the military, and they cut all the budgets, which affected the profits of the business I was working at. And his answer to that was to cut me from a full-time salaried employee to part-time, working 20 hours a week, still doing all the same work. And I quit on that principle, and I still stand by that, but I've never quite made that much money again. So 2015 started off with me quitting my job, which is a shaky thing, and then ended with my mother dying, which is like a earth-shattering thing. So anyway, we got through all that. Where am I? So anyway, where am I now? Where are you now, Jay? So I feel like a lot of people know that maybe you don't. Let me just go through it. In 2019, I got back into therapy, and with my therapist, I went to my therapist and said, I relapsed into meth addiction. I need help, and I'm scared because I have major depression issues, and I'm worried that when I quit smoking meth, I'm not going to be able to deal with it, without some like professional guidance. So I set a goal to quit smoking meth in 2020, Mardi Gras of 2020. And that was my goal. At the end of 19, I set that goal, and I did that. I quit for a few months. Because Mardi Gras 2020 happened, and then COVID, the lockdown, happened right after that. Not a great place to be quitting meth and locked down. It was rough. So in August of that year, I broke COVID protocol, and I went and had a hookup, which pissed off my partner, and it just blew up from there. Soon after that, there was a Facebook post, and then soon after that, everybody I knew was aware that I was now addicted to meth again. And I quit then. I quit again then. I quit for a while. And I fell out of therapy for a bit. And so we're now in 2024. So in October of 2023, I went back to, because I had now relapsed again. I went back and I went for a mental health screening in October. And when I went in for my mental health screening, I told them that I was doing drugs, I was depressed, blah, blah, blah. And it felt like they were a triage unit. Like, all hands on deck! And I just wanted to go in and find a new therapist. They kind of basically said, if you want a new therapist, you've got to follow all these stuff. I had to go through a 4-week intense depression counseling session, group session. I had to do, and I've not said this to many people, but I'm going to say it here now. And from November until the end of February, was in what's called IOP, which is intensive outpatient rehab, basically. I was in outpatient rehab. And it was a lot. I was doing up to like 15 hours a week in intense therapy of depression therapy, grief counseling, and rehab, like basically drug rehabilitation group. And it's left me shaky. It's left me like, whoa, fuck. I realized that although I thought, I don't know, every time I start talking about my mom again and how my mom died at 50, like it's still so there. And the kind of, although they weren't actually that close together, in my mind it feels like they were real close together, because my oldest sister died in 2011. My mother died in 2015, and then my dad died in 2017. Now that's like 6 years, but somehow it feels like one cluster of losing the people, losing my family, losing like my ground, the foot under my ground, the ground under my feet. I still have my sister Kim, but I love her, and but we've never been the close ones in the family. So although I still have family, it doesn't feel like I have a family. And no offense, Kim, if Kim ever sees this, but I accomplished my rehab. I got through the rehab program. I graduated. I've got a certificate around here somewhere. And after that, they send you to trauma therapy. So for the past 3 weeks, I've only had 2 sessions with her, I think. Pretty sure. I'm now in trauma therapy, which is daunting. That's all I can say. Daunting. I'm nervous. I feel like I know all my trauma. I'm very aware of it. Whether I can actually bring myself to feel all that crap again, I don't know. And does that help to bring up your therapy? Your trauma again? But I figure with trauma therapy, I wanted to have an outlet to discuss my trauma therapy, because it's hard to go to hang out with a friend and tell your friend, hey, guess what happened in trauma therapy? I struggle whenever I have like something dark and deep to talk about. I have a problem bringing it up. So anyway, my time's almost up. One thing I want to throw in every podcast is my old Thankful Journal. This Thankful Journal started in 2001, and I've written in it sporadically, off and on, through the years. Obviously, there's major gaps because I've only filled up this much since 2001, and it's 2024 now. But I figure part of this podcast will be to read from my old Thankful Journal. And my goal has been since December 6th of 2001 to write 5 things I'm grateful for. So it looks like we have 48 seconds on here. So I'm about to wrap it up. Let's go to the first entry in my Thankful Journal, which is December 6th, 2001. I'm thankful for thunderstorms, telephones, Joey, education possibilities, and sex. No arguments there. No regrets. All of that. It's a little. I find it interesting at this moment that my first Thankful Journal is thunderstorms. I do love a thunderstorm. Anyway, my time's almost up. I'm about to beep. What is it? This is done on Saturday, and I'm going to try to get it posted on Monday. So, oh, done. Alarm. Okay, so thanks. See you next time.